Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Francis. Today, we shall be looking at some common organic questions in chemistry. We want to continue from where we stopped the last class, and we shall be taking some 10 questions from organic chemistry. So sit back, get your writing material. We shall be right back in a moment. All right. The first question says, how can you test for the presence of an alkene? Alkene is a carbon-carbon double bond homologous series, which is an unsaturated hydrocarbon. So it can be identified by a solution called bromine water. If bromine water is applied or is added to an alkene solution, it decolorizes the solution. So the test is called bromine water, which decolorizes alkene, making it to become saturated, from unsaturated to saturated. Question 32 says, what reagent is used for testing aldehyde? Aldehyde are carbohydrates with the functional group CHO. So the name of the solution is called toluene or Ferlin solution. You can either use Ferlin solution or toluene reagent. Question 33. What compound gives a sweet smell with ethanol and concentrated H2SO4? The only compound that can give a sweet smell with ethanol in the presence of concentrated H2SO4 is called ester. And the process is called esterification. Ester. Question 34 says, what is the result of heating ethanol with acidified dichromate? You remember acidified dichromate is an oxidizing agent. So it will oxidize ethanol to ethanoic acid. The process is the oxidation of ethanol will be converted by this to ethanoic acid. Question 35. What test is used for protein? The name of the test for confirming protein is called biuret test. Biuret test. Question 36. How do you test for fat and oil? We can test for fat and oil using a drop of this oil or fat on a paper. The paper then becomes translucent, meaning light cannot pass through it. So the paper turns translucent. That's a confirmatory test that substance is oil or fat. 37. What color change occur with glucose and Benedict solution? When you add Benedict solution to a sample of glucose, you see a reddish precipitate or a brick red reddish precipitate. Reddish precipitate will be formed. The color turns red, telling you that glucose is present. Reddish precipitate. Yes, question 38 says, which reagent confirms phenol? When you react phenol with iron 3 chloride, the solution form a purple color. Purple. The solution turn purple, which tells you that the presence of phenol is confirmed in that solution. Question 39. What test confirm the presence of starch? Of course, iodine solution is used to carry out a test involving starch. The solution turns blue, black, telling you that starch is present. So the test is iodine solution, which turns the starch blue, black. Question 40. What happens when ethanoic acid reacts with sodium carbonate? It's like a neutralization reaction where you have an organic acid reacting with a carbonate, of course, an effervescence of gas, which is carbon dioxide, will be evolved, telling you that this reaction requires a carbonate. So an effervescent, meaning a colorless gas, and this gas can be confirmed by bubbling this gas into a lime water, which turn lime water milk, confirming the presence of CO2. All right. Question, this is supposed to be question 41. So there is a typographic error there. So we are continuing from 43. Question 43 says, what is the proper way to dispose of concentrated acid waste? When you have a concentrated acid waste to be disposed, the first thing you do is to neutralize this concentrated acid with a suitable base. You know, when you add a suitable base to this, it will cancel the effect of the concentrated acid, thereby neutralizing before then wash with water. Question 44. Which glassware is most accurate for measuring liquid? The best glassware for measuring the volume of liquid is burette. Question 45. What should be done in case of chemical spill? Whenever you have a situation where you have chemical spill in the laboratory, the first thing you do is to wash the surface with water. You know, when you wash the surface with water, you now get a kit, you know, made of fiber, you know, cotton material to now rub off the surface and clean up the surface. Question 46. Which piece of equipment is used to heat chemical? The name of the equipment for heating chemical in the laboratory is called Bunsen burner. Bunsen burner is an equipment used for heating. Question 47. What is used to support glassware during heating? When you are heating, when you have your Bunsen burner, you have your tripod stand, tripod then followed by wire girls. You know, your tripod stand is like this. You have your burner, your Bunsen burner. Then you have your wire girls on it, you know, to prevent direct contact with the flame. So we have wire girls and tripod stand. Question 48. Why should concentrated acid be added to water and not vice versa? Meaning, why should we not add water? You know, if you want to dilute a concentrated acid, why should we rather add acid to water and not water to acid? You know, you do this to avoid explosion in the laboratory, because by the time you add water to acid, you bring about exothermic reaction, which can cause an explosion in the laboratory, which is risky. Question 49. What color is the safest flame of a Bunsen burner? You know, in a Bunsen burner, if you want to get the safest flame, the color is always yellow. You know, yellow is always a luminous color, you know, in the laboratory. When you get a luminous color, which is yellow, it's much more safer. Question 50, which is going to be the last question for today. It says, what color indicates a neutral solution with a universal indicator? You know, a universal indicator is an indicator that has a series of color range, which indicates the nature of the solution, either an acid, neutral, or whatever. So for us to identify a neutral solution in this case, the solution has to be, the universal indicator has to turn green, telling you that the solution is neither acid nor base. So with this, we have come to the end of today's class. Please go to the comment section. If you have any question, please drop your question in the comment section, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so that we can get you updated with some of our latest video on this channel. Thank you.